The snow outside our cabin was being disturbed by something that wasn't leaving footprints. I used to think snow was peaceful, quiet, clean. Now I know better. This happened 3 winters ago, and I still can't look at snowfall the same way. My wife, Laura, and I rented a cabin in northern Maine for a long weekend in February. No cell service, no neighbors nearby, just trees, snow, and a frozen lake about a quarter-mile away. The listing called it remote but serene. That should have been my first warning. The last gas station was nearly an hour away. After that, it was just a narrow, unplowed road cutting through endless woods. Snowbanks towered over our car, and the only tire tracks ahead of us looked old, half-filled, like no one had driven this way in days. Laura was scrolling through downloaded movies on her phone when I slowed the car. "Do you see that?" I asked. She looked up. "See what?" "There aren't any fresh tracks. Not ours, not anyone's." She shrugged. "It's snowing. They probably filled in." I wanted to believe that. The cabin finally appeared as a dark shape buried under white. Smoke curled from the chimney, which confused me because we were told the place would be cold when we arrived. But I didn't say anything. Inside it was warm, uncomfortably warm, like the heat had been running for hours. Laura joked that the owner must have turned it on early for us. We unpacked, started a fire, and made dinner while the snow fell harder outside, swallowing sound. That night I noticed something strange. The windows faced the woods on 3 sides of the cabin. Snow pressed up against the glass, glowing faintly in the firelight. Every so often I thought I saw movement just beyond the tree line, but every time I focused, there was nothing there. I told myself it was just branches swaying. Around midnight, Laura went to bed. I stayed up reading, listening to the wind scrape across the roof. That's when I heard it. Crunch. Not the soft hush of falling snow. A deliberate crunch, like weight being shifted. I froze. Crunch. Crunch, slow, methodical, right outside the cabin. I stood and peeked through the window. The snow near the tree line was disturbed. Not footprints exactly, but impressions, long streaks, as if something had been dragged or pressed down without lifting. No boots, no animal tracks, just flattened snow. I backed away and locked the door. I didn't wake Laura. I should have. The next morning, everything looked normal. Fresh snow had erased whatever I'd seen. Laura laughed when I told her, blaming exhaustion. We went for a walk down to the frozen lake. That's when I noticed something that made my stomach drop. Halfway down the trail, our own footprints stopped. Not turned around, not veered off, just ended. Beyond that point, the snow was untouched. Laura stared at it, frowning. "That's not possible." I tried to joke. "Maybe we floated?" She didn't laugh. We turned back early. That afternoon, the snow started again, heavy, thick flakes that erased distance. By sunset, the world felt sealed off. That's when the sounds started. At first, it sounded like snow hitting the walls. Then it became rhythmic. Tap, tap, tap. From different sides of the cabin, never two at once. Laura whispered, "Is someone out there?" I grabbed a flashlight and opened the door. Nothing, just endless snow. I shut and locked it. The tapping continued, moved, higher now, against the windows, like fingers. That's not snow. The power went out. Total darkness, no fire, no lights, just the sound of our breathing and something moving outside. Then we heard footsteps, not crunching, dragging, circling the cabin. Laura started crying quietly. I held her, staring at the door. Then came the knock, 3 slow knocks, from the inside of the door. I swear to you, I swear, it wasn't outside. It was on the wrong side. The doorknob turned, just slightly, like someone testing it. Then, stillness. We didn't sleep. When morning came, the storm had stopped. Sunlight revealed a smooth blanket of snow around the cabin. No footprints, no tracks, except one thing, Right outside our bedroom window, pressed into the snow, were two long impressions, parallel, like someone had stood there all night, watching. We left immediately. When I told the owner what happened, he was silent for a long time. Then he said, "You're lucky it snowed." I asked what he meant. He replied, "It usually doesn't like being erased. I don't go to the mountains anymore, and when it snows, I close the curtains." Something followed my car for 8 miles through a snowstorm. I never believed in instincts until the night mine started screaming at me. This happened last winter, on a drive I'd done dozens of times before. I was visiting my brother in northern Wisconsin, and I left his place later than planned because the snow started coming down harder than forecasted. By the time I pulled onto the highway, visibility was awful. Thick flakes blurred my headlights into a white tunnel, and the road felt narrower than usual. No other cars, no taillights ahead, no headlights behind me, just me and the snow. About 10 minutes into the drive, I noticed something odd. My rearview mirror looked wrong. Not broken, not foggy, empty. The snow behind me wasn't behaving like snow should. Instead of swirling randomly, it looked disturbed, like something was cutting through it, staying just beyond where my lights reached. I told myself it was wind. Then my radio cut out. Not static, not fading, just silence. The dashboard clock blinked and reset. 12 o'clock. That's when the feeling hit me. The unmistakable certainty that I was no longer alone on that road. I sped up. The disturbance in the snow kept pace. I slowed down. It slowed too. 8 miles of this. No matter what speed I went, it stayed exactly the same distance behind me. Never close enough to see, never far enough to disappear. I tried flashing my brake lights. Nothing. I tried honking. Nothing. The snow behind me compressed like something leaned forward. My phone had no service. GPS froze. The road signs stopped appearing. I passed the same reflective mile marker twice. That's when I realized I wasn't moving forward anymore. I was being kept. The temperature gauge on my car dropped rapidly. Frost crawled along the inside edges of the windshield. My breath fogged the air. And then I saw it. Not in the mirror, next to me. Something tall moved just beyond the passenger window. I didn't look directly, I couldn't, but I saw how the snow reacted, how it bent downward without crunching, like weight without steps. My passenger door handle twitched. Once, twice. I screamed and slammed the accelerator to the floor. The engine roared, tires spinning, and suddenly the road snapped back into place. Signs reappeared. The radio crackled. A truck passed going the opposite direction, its headlights blinding. The pressure vanished. The snow behind me returned to chaos. I didn't stop driving until I reached a gas station flooded with light and people. I sat there shaking for 20 minutes before I could even turn the car off. The clerk asked if I was okay. I said yes. I lied. When I finally stepped out of the car, I noticed something that made my knees buckle. There were handprints in the snow on my trunk. Not human, too long, too narrow, pressed in deep as if something had been holding on. I scraped them away before driving home. But sometimes, when it snows heavily and the roads go quiet, I swear I can feel my car slow on its own, like it remembers, and like something else does too.